reader with Hattis Hierophant, and welcome. Gemini, if you haven't had a chance to look at your February 2020 general reading, go take a look. There may be some nuggets in there for you that you might like. Otherwise, stick around. We are going to be talking about your money, finances, job, career, business. And for those of you that are resonating in that energy, but maybe you're not working yet or you're looking for your calling, perhaps we'll dabble in there too. First things first, Gemini, hey, you know what? Let me know if this is a reading that you want every month or every other month. Yeah, let me know about that. Otherwise, let's get on with your reading. The center of your reading is the 10 of Wands on this side. And we have two sides to these cards. So you're going to hear me refer to this and that, inner and outer. So forgive me if I'm confusing you because I confused myself. So the energy I get from that right away, Gemini, are a few things. Obviously, you feel a lot of burdens, but I feel these burdens are coming from being responsible for other people, being responsible for their money, being responsible for their bills, being responsible for their career, right? But it's such a huge spectrum. But what I like about it the most, Gemini, this man is not struggling. Yeah, he has a lot, but he's not to his knees crawling with these burdens. But it is good to recognize that you do have them, okay? Next, we're going to go to your money sector of your reading, which is in your moon energy. And let's face it, Gemini, we don't want folks knowing how much money you have and how much money you don't have. But between you and I, Gemini, because I know you, right? You always look like you have money, even if you are dead broke. You look good, your car is shiny. It may not be new, but it's clean. So everybody thinks you are clean, if you know what I mean. So I like it. Now, the first card we have in your money energy is the 5 of Pentacles on this side, the 6 of Chalices on that side, and the Ace of Wands on that side. Now, the first thing I get, especially with that 5 of Pentacles, and I don't want you to worry, Gemini, because you're not broke and beat down and busted. Just like I said, right? Even though you might be worrying about money, you still look good worrying about the money. But I don't feel like that's the case here. I feel like it's more of, I gave this money for this, and you're using it for that. You're almost, you almost feel foolish because you gave this money and they're using it what you consider reckless. And this is why I say that. You see with the 6 of Chalices, you see how he's kind of waiting for you at the door? That's you, Gemini. It's like you're waiting up there like, I noticed when I checked the account that you were over at Chick-fil-A and you bought some new Nikes. That is for emergency purposes only. That's what I feel, Gemini. Like you're like, excuse me? That's not what I gave you that for, right? So that's one side of your money. Another side is, I feel like that, I don't feel like it's so much family members. For some of you it is. Some family members are like, look, Gemini, I need this money or else they're going to take my house. I need this money or else they're going to take my car. I need this money or else I won't have food on the table. And they're making it seem so urgent, and you're the one that's going to fix their problem. It's not so urgent, Gemini. It is not so urgent. Sometimes you have to let folks help themselves, right? Number one. Number two, for those business partners or perhaps people who are trying to buy your business, right? I'm feeling like they're giving you ultimatums too, like they need to answer like quick, fast, in a hurry. Number one, we have Mercury retrograde coming up. So if it already wasn't in the works, they're going to have to wait. I would make them wait, Gemini. There is no urgency is what I'm feeling. Okay. So we're going to come back to your money because we are going to expand on that with the Rider deck. But right now, my dear Gemini, we are going to be talking about your job, business, and career, which is in your sun energy, because let's face it, that's where you show up, right? First card I get is the Emperor on his inner self. The 9 of Chalices on that side. And the 2 of Cups on this side. I love that card. When I pick up this card, there's so much love and energy I get from that. I feel like it's, I know us readers like to say twin flame sort of thing, but it really does feel that way. They're mimicking each other. But I'm getting something different from that. Not a twin flame, but more of a partnership. And before we go there, I want to talk about this emperor on his inner self. So you know how we talked about those burdens, and I'm talking to you business owners. Are you selling your business? Are you merging with someone? Are you selling parts of it? Are you bringing in new partners? I feel like that there's a different, and you haven't done this before. I feel like that these new people or this new company that's coming in and you're joining forces, you feel some sort of guilt for the people who've been with you for a long time because you know things are about to change. That's where that burden is coming from, because they were there with you from the beginning or pretty doggone close to it. And you're feeling like, am I doing the right thing for them? In addition to that, you're like, am I doing the right thing for my customers, right? For the people we service. Will these people I'm bringing in have that same ideals, the same trust that I put out there? Will it be the same? And that's really, it's concerning you. It's creating these emotional burdens for you. Listen, if that is the case, this 9 of Cups is asking you, telling you, encouraging you to be clear with these new people that are coming in, that you're merging with, that you're selling to, whatever resonates with you, that you try to write in as much as possible your concerns, to make sure that your business is still the same business, right? Meaning we're going to treat our employees a certain kind of way, and we're going to have a certain type of service that we uphold, and we're going to service our customers this particular way. And I want that written into this new contract before we move forward. So just be very clear about what your expectations are. Now listen, Gemini, you're not gonna be able to go in there and strong arm, everything, all your wants, needs, and desires. But if you go in with something and you're clear about it, it'll be helpful. And I feel like that you've already kind of found someone who has the same ideas, right? So that's the good news. And for those of you who are working for a company, and perhaps there is like a new management, or it's transitioning, or you've just been there for a while, I think now's a good time to ask for a raise or a promotion. Yeah. Okay. And we're going to come back and expand on that. But before we do, let's go on to those of you who are looking for a transition, or maybe you're kind of hearing this calling. Interestingly enough, Gemini, I have done a few readings before yours. And yours is almost like the opposite. I feel like a lot of you have already been working in that arena of, I'm doing what I want to do, but it's not making me any money, not the money I really want. I think I might get more security going back to that 9 to 5. And that's what you've been thinking about. So with this 5 of Swords, you see how he's kind of walking back towards where he started. And this guy is like, where are you going? What you doing? We were doing something here. You've really been thinking about doing that. And some of you are going to do that simply because you just can't sustain yourself with what you've been doing. I also have the Empress on her inner self, right? And that again tells me that prosperity has been a little bit slower, right? We have this skull here and prosperity's on the other end. At one point, whatever you decided you were going to do, that you were called to do, there was prosperity there. Whether it was financial or whether it was something that was here, right? It filled this up. Something has changed to where you're looking to get back to something a bit more, 9 to 5, something's a bit more 9 to 5, right? Some of us are kind of working in the art realm, and whatever that means to you, because art is in the eye of the beholder. And at first you were making some money with it, but now that the times are changing, that art isn't moving like it used to. And some of you, now here is where I see that some of you are coming from this typical job, and you want to get into art, and you want to start selling your art. You want to start being into galleries. And I feel like it's more digital. I feel like it's more digital art, not so much more the painting for a lot of us. Okay. I also see it, and this is very interesting. I also see some of us who are really into climbing, hiking, park preservation. Like some of you want to, like you have so much passion in your heart for that, but that's what you want to go to. You're trying to figure out, how can I make that a career? Okay, yes. So if some of you are called to do that, it's gonna have to be a trading type thing, Gemini. So what I mean is, if you want to go into parks and recreation, right? Perhaps you're going to live on that land and take care of it, and that's the trade. Okay, they'll pay you a little bit, like enough to give you food and everything, but that'll be the trade. Okay. All right, so now we're going to expand on your money. So I'm going to expand on this Five of Pentacles, where you look there just worried and concerned. Gemini, we got the Wheel of Fortune along with the Seven of Pentacles. Listen, Gemini, a gift is a gift is a gift. Just because we give the money doesn't mean that we get to tell them what to do with it. It's one thing that if you have a child and you give them a credit card and you're like, hey, only use this in the case of emergencies, and Chick-fil-A is not an emergency. But if you gave money to someone simply because they said they needed it, and then you found out that they went to Disneyland instead and took the whole family, you don't need to go back and say, excuse me? I gave you this money to do what? Right? Like, you were looking there like, that wasn't my vision. Well, it's not supposed to be your vision, or we should ask the right questions, Gemini. Be okay with giving that gift. Yeah. That'll come back to you, okay? Now, in regards to this Ace of Wands, right? And we're talking about all this urgency and things like that. Look, this Nine of Pentacles with the Lover's card. Listen, Gemini, it is very clear that you are generous, especially to those you care about, right? And that's why they come and ask you. And even during those times, because you even look good when you're broke, you even look like you have money when you don't. That's why people keep coming to ask you. And they keep coming to ask you because that's where you find your purpose. That's where you get your life, right? When a family member or someone who you love come and say, hey, Gemini, come help me, it brings you absolute joy to reach in your pocket and be able to give it. You love that. But Gemini, every once in a while, it is okay to say, no. I'm going to walk away from that, right? Go help yourself, because sometimes that's the bigger gift, like we were just talking about earlier. When people don't know how to help themselves and they only know how to help themselves to your pocket, Houston, there's a problem, right? Okay. Now, to expand on the business, career, and job sector, I expanded on this Emperor card. Baby, Death card and Sun card? What? Listen, yeah, I just got the chills on that. So with that Death card, right, it's not going to be the same, Gemini. It's not. And it's so sweet of you to think of others while you're going through this transition of selling this business, right? And so there's two parts to this. So as you sell this business, some people are going to quit, some people are going to leave, or some of us are actually closing down a business, and those people will be affected. And you can't hold yourself responsible for that. Some things just end, and some things just begin, right? Not all endings are death, meaning final. Perhaps that particular situation or that time in life has ended, but that's so you can move on to something else. So don't feel so bad, because those people who have stuck with you and they had loyalty and they were making money for a business, they can go do it elsewhere and they'll be prosperous. And as a matter of fact, a lot of them are going to be happy for this transition, right? I mean, and you had a nice little gig going on there, Gemini, but this is going to be something new and different for them. So be happy for them. I feel like there's something else there. I'm going to come back to it. So remember how we were talking about this two of chalices there, and I was saying, hey, let's ask for a promotion. What? Another two of cups and a star card? So first of all, to you business owners, and there must be a lot of Geminis that are business owners, because I keep just going straight to that, right? For those of you who are selling, merging, adding, it's going to be a great partnership. Okay. Everything that you wished for in the beginning when you first started this is going to happen, and it's going to require a partnership. This is why we don't need to worry, right? We don't need to be so concerned. Yes, it's going to look different. It has to look different. It has to change, right? How do you expect it to be different if you want it to stay the same? It can't be both. And as long as we're very clear about what we want to do, this is calling for us to be clear and clarity, right? Then a lot of the demands that you're asking for, they'll do them. But you got to be clear about it. If you just let it happen, then a lot of those concerns that you're having about people's pay changing or it being an uncomfortable work environment, those are going to come true. They're depending on you to write those things in during that transition. Okay, yeah. And for those of you that I'm encouraging you to ask for a raise or to ask for, and this is a good time. I'm hearing this is a good time, because if you are in your current pay structure and this merge happens or this change of, I just feel like something's changing with your leadership or with CEOs or, you know, whatever the case. If you do not use this opportunity to ask for a pay raise, you're going to be kind of stuck there for a long time. Okay. So, yeah, you have to be clear about, like, hey, I've been here for 15 years and I've been making the same kind of money. I think it's time. Yeah. All right. So you know what I want to do? I want to expand on that Eight of Cups, where we're kind of walking away from giving folks. Yeah. You have such generosity. This is confirmation, right? So first we started off here, right? You were giving out the kindness of your heart, and they went out there, and I'm trying to get this card to be really clear for you. They went out there and started spending their money like you were just going to keep giving it, okay? And we're going to walk away from that, Gemini. No longer am I your ATM, okay? No longer am I your ATM. Nope. You go find another way. You get creative, right? See, this is the Page of Cups. So they almost have to kind of start as a child for you to say, stay out of my pockets. You go figure it out. And they will, Gemini, right? That's what that fish represents. They need to know they can do it. Okay? It's all about being creative. Some of them just aren't thinking outside of digging in your pocket. Hate to say it. All right, I'm going to expand on this Death and Sun card. See if we can get some clarity there. Yeah, so for sure, right? With this Death and Sun, we are going to have some folks that are going to walk off. Some of them are going to feel like, how could you do this to me? How could you do this to us? We've been with you since the beginning. How could you expand? How could you get larger? How could you grow your business? Silliness, right? You're not going to please everybody. You're not going to please everybody. That's what growth is. Because as you grow, you expand. And as you're expanding, some leaves are going to fall off. Right? And then here, as I expand on that Two of Cups with the star and another Two of Cups, we have the the Four of Cups. Okay. So for some of you who are at this job and we do have this merger, like some of you are going to walk off and be like, I'm done and had it. But some of you, this is a blessing in disguise. So don't sit there all, disappointed, like they sold it and things are so different. No, perk up and say, you know what? Here's been my work history. Here are the clients who think I'm lovely. This is how much money I brought into the company, right? This is how much change I've brought, and I've added to the policies and procedures here. I think I deserve a little bit more money. This is a blessing in disguise. Otherwise, you wouldn't have gotten this opportunity to speak so highly of yourself, right? Because you were here with this emperor who thinks you're great and all, but after a while, you've been here for 10 years, they're used to your greatness. But now when these new folks come in, tell them how great you are, and I'm gonna need a little bit more money for my greatness. All right, Gemini. Oh, did I not show you the expansion on this Four of Swords? This is why I was talking about, because we also have the Page of Wands, and then we have the Hanged Man. That's why I picked up on that energy on some of us are really into climbing. Some of us, like, we want to be instructors. Some of us are really into hiking, forestry, if I'm even saying that right. I get these images in my head, and sometimes I just don't know how to translate them, so forgive me. But yes, it won't be, you won't be a millionaire doing it. But if that's where your heart is and your calling is going to require you understand that it's going to be, on a trade kind of basis. I want to expand on that a little bit more. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, some of you are for sure called to do that. Very interesting. And because we have the Hierophant with the Three of Wands, right? Hanged Man and the Page of Wands. Okay, these were my expansion cards for you. You are called to do this, right? This is official business. This is all about, like your prayers being answered, to go off on this journey, right? If you want to do it, Gemini, this is calling you to action. This is not an energy of sit on your loins and someone's going to come find you. You have to go out and find it. You have to go out and find that opportunity, okay? So, okay. So for those of you, I'm glad I expanded on this. So for those of you who are artistically being called to do something and you're thinking about going back to your 9 to 5, right? Because it's almost like you have all these things coming at you. It's the card note, it's the mortgage, it's my kids going to college, it's my own college tuition I got to pay for. So it's getting difficult for you to do that. Things are going to start turning around because I got her on her frontal, Miss Empress, okay? And then the 9 of Cups. So if you can stick it out a little bit longer, because I have the Emperor here, and that's who the Emperor is. He's not one that gives up, right? He's the first and the last one on the field. Yeah, that's 100. All right, so I am going to expand on this 10 of Wands. Whoa. I just got something else. A bed and breakfast? Are one of you interested in starting a bed and breakfast or a hotel? Huh. You'll have to let me know. Okay. All right, so I want some of us, so I got the bed and breakfast. If some of us are going towards a bed and breakfast, let's just hold off for a little bit, right? I feel like that something's not right with the property we're looking at to do the bed and breakfast or this hotel. Yeah, check everything. There's something that's not 100% honest. Make sure it's not like in foreclosure, or make sure it's not under some, I feel like there's some sort of scam there. So just double check that for me. Yep. And they're trying to rush you. They're trying to rush you to sign these documents. Someone else is already looking at this hotel. Someone's already looking at this property. Someone's already going to do this. So you need to jump on it, right? We need you to come quick, fast, in a hurry, right? And they almost seem very trustworthy, almost in a mothery, like a trusting kind of way. I don't want to say mothery because I don't get that, but it's a very trusting energy to where this is how they get over on people, right? They're acting. I wouldn't trust it, okay? Yeah, and for you business owners that are selling, those demands that you're asking for, just don't sign the documents because they're like, okay, we've gone back and forth, just sign right there, everything is good. No, read over everything or get your attorney to look over it because there's still something there that, and they weren't being malicious, I feel. It's more of like someone didn't change it and you were about to sign off on something that would have affected a lot of people. So make sure you have it double checked. Just don't get into that comfortable zone of we've done this 12 times. I'm sure everyone's very clear about what the expectations are. They are, but just like, human beings, right? Sometimes we just forget. Okay. All right, Gemini. 26 minutes, not too bad. I absolutely adore you. I'm going to try to have your March uploaded general readings at the end of this month. I'm going to try so desperately. Otherwise, like it, share it, and subscribe. I would love to see you again next month. I absolutely adore you. Bye, Gemini.